I wrote down one accomplishment for each year, and I wrote it on a poster board because I just wanted to see, what did I do? You think that you ain't doing nothing, but you're doing something. Hello. So today we're going to be talking about reflecting on my life over the last year, of course. It's that time of year where people start reflecting and start making decisions for the upcoming year based upon what happened. So I'm a woman of my 30s, and when you get to this point in life, you start thinking about life differently. The same things you reflected on before might not be what you reflect on now, So I want to talk to you guys today about the things I didn't accomplish this year. And guess what? I'm not mad at myself. It doesn't matter that I didn't accomplish these things. It is what it is. So the number one thing that I didn't accomplish this year was weight loss. A lot of people want to lose weight, including myself, but it just didn't turn out that way this year. If anything, I gained weight this year. So it is what it is. So that's the first thing that I just wanted to say, hey, I didn't do it like I wanted to do it. And if you hear me talking in this voice, this is my little bit of a sarcasm voice, but I'm being serious as well. Okay. So anyway, so that's the first thing that I didn't do. It didn't go according to plans. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's a little harder than it used to be. So I have to be more intentional about that. But as far as, am I beating myself up about it? No. A girl didn't lose weight this year. It is what it is. The second thing that I didn't accomplish this year was saving money. Whew. We are coming off the pandemic still. A lot of things have changed. This year was not a saving money year for me. I'm in my 30s. Things look differently than they used to look. Am I making a nicer income than I did when I was in my 20s? Yes. But did I save any money? No. Am I going to beat myself up over that? No, you shouldn't either. One of the primary reasons why I didn't save any money this year is because my husband was out of work for a few months. Now, he did leave his job intentionally, but because of that, we were at a point where it's like, do you choose peace or do you choose money? And there gets to a point where sometimes, depending on your situation, peace might be the better alternative. So that was the situation with that. So thus, I did not accomplish any money saving this year. Also, I didn't graduate or do anything educational-wise. I didn't earn any certificates. Now, that's a big deal for me because I know over the last few years of my life, pretty much the last 10 years of my life, I had always been chasing my education. That's something that I can tell you guys about later, but I had been chasing my education since the time I dropped out of college back when I was 22 years old. So because that was a thing that I was chasing, I was looking for programs, I was trying to set myself up for success. The idea that this is a year that I didn't get any education or I didn't get a certificate, or it feels odd, but at the same time, I'm not mad at myself for it. It's just something I didn't get to do. Now, the reason why I wanted to preface what I didn't accomplish this year is because I do want to tell you about some of the things that I did accomplish. And the way I'm going to tell you about them, they're going to be small and they might be insignificant to others. But again, I'm in my 30s and I'm looking at life a little differently than what I used to before. My biggest accomplishment of this year didn't even take effect until August, and I really didn't see its results until December. And I've talked about it in previous videos, but my son, in his education, he started a different school this year, and it's called K-12. K-12 is an online public school program that I'm allowed to be like his learning coach or his tutor throughout that program. So we did something totally differently this year, and this is a major accomplishment because he went from his scores greatly improved. My boy was scoring very low in the ELA department, English Learning Arts department, and his score has went up double since we started this new program. So if you ask me, in the grand scheme of life, even though I didn't do this or I didn't do that, this is something that I truly know was by far the best thing I could have done this year. Doesn't matter what else I didn't do. This thing really holds its weight in gold. Another thing that I did accomplish this year was taking care of my sister. My sister had a stroke this year, and she also came down with an autoimmune disease. This has been a real struggle for her, but because of the close-knit family that we are and because of the closeness that I have with my sister, if she was in it, I was in it right along with her. So this is a topic of health, health situation. So These are unexpected things that can occur in someone's life, and it'll totally take you off track. So I say that again, I say these are things that occur when you're in your 30s or 40s, maybe because something that you didn't really have to think about before. But now this is a factor, So my sister got sick, and the reason why this was a big accomplishment, I would say, is because everything else got kind of put by the wayside. This happened earlier in the year, maybe from January to August or January to July. I took any free time that I had to help and take care of her. She had to go to actual physical therapy, inpatient rehab, so she had to stay at a rehab facility. So helping her through that, even though it's her own individual struggle, just trying to be the best support system that I could to my sister during that time, for me, that is an accomplishment for this year too. Another accomplishment for this year is spending more time with my kids. Again, I'm in my 30s, all my ladies in their 30s, all the moms and wives in their 30s, hear me out here. That's something that we often want to do. We always want to make sure we spend enough time with our kids, make sure they're getting our attention, make sure we're not dropping the ball, which we're always going to think that we are, but we do our best. So this year I made it my intention to spend more time with them just on a whim. So by on a whim, I mean during the week, Monday through Friday, they're at school, I'm at work, we're going. But I started to notice that my oldest son, who's 14, started to ask to go to the community center and just shoot hoops, hang out with his friends. So I realized, 2 hours of time, once or twice a week or once every week, that's not a big deal, especially if it's taking them off of the electronics, if it's taking them, from that tunnel vision, getting stuck in that zone after school. So that's something that I felt like became a good routine. I have 2 sons, so they really enjoy the community center. There's so much to do there. We swim, they play basketball, I get my computer out, I do what I'm doing. And to me, it's been a very good balance for our family. And I do feel, probably, honestly, y'all, for the first time in years, I would say I don't feel like I didn't give them any attention this year. Like every year I'm always saying, I need to spend more time with my boys, da-da-da-da. But this year, because I started to put that into our life, even though it's minor and it doesn't even cost much, I really feel like I did a good job, Another thing that I would say I accomplished this year was becoming a better wife. I say that with a smirk on my face because to any other wives out there, you know how these men can be, okay? They a bit much. But it's taken some time for me to become a better wife. Me and my husband have been married for 10 years, and I would say for the first 7, I was off the chain. I was off the chain. And I'm going to put the blame on me. He can put the blame on him when he wants to on his own time, but right now, I have to take responsibility for me and the things that I did or said or didn't do or didn't say. But this year, I would say I intentionally tried to become a better wife. Small example, but me and my husband, we didn't go on a lot of trips. We didn't hang out like that. We're in the busyness of living life, taking care of these kids and stuff. So this year, we went to Vegas, to see Usher. It was my idea, but we did it. And I'll be honest, that might seem small to somebody else, but to me, that was a big thing because not only was it during the time that my sister was sick too, so to get that breakaway just for the weekend, to go spend some time, to go listen to one of our favorite artists, and then his actual residency went down in history too. I'm so happy that I was a part of that, and I'm so happy that I was able to do that with my spouse. So that's one thing, but I do know that this year I was intentionally trying to develop better habits of communication, better habits of, asking him, did he need anything, anticipating what his needs were. Just, not being such a nagger, because we have a tendency to do that as women. We do. And that's one thing I'm not going to shy away from, keeping it 100 here, because I take responsibility for my actions and accountability. So we have a tendency to nag, and thankfully I'm kind of pulling that in some. Now, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all this because I want and challenge you guys to do the same thing, meaning take a breath, think about, you're going to think about what you didn't get to do this year, but or you didn't accomplish this year, but don't let it consume you. Just think about things that you did do, and how was this year? What happened this year? If you got to scroll through your pictures to jog your memory, then do that. But the older we get, the more we realize that life is short. The more we realize time is short. So I'm going to give y'all a tip. What I did one year, I believe it was like 5 years ago, or 2016, because my life hasn't been, a straight and narrow road. So like in 2016, I took it upon myself and I said, you know what? I'm going to write down one accomplishment that I did each year since I was grown. So I started with like 2009, because that's the year that my oldest son was born. So from 2009 to like 2016, or maybe it was 2017, I wrote down one accomplishment for each year, and I wrote it on a poster board because I just wanted to see, what did I do? Because you think that you ain't doing nothing, but you're doing something. So when I did that and I looked at it, I hung it over there by my wall, because really I needed to see that. I needed to see that one year I filed bankruptcy. Might not seem like a big deal to somebody else, but it is a big deal to somebody who had their car repossessed twice. or 1 year I got my son's name changed. Might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal if you named your son something that you weren't thinking about earlier and you needed to fix that. So I did that. Another year, I got a career job. Another year, I graduated. Another year, I upgraded my car. Again, these might seem insignificant and small to others, but if it matters to you, by all means, write that down. So your accomplishments are going to truly depend on what phase you are in life. And don't let anybody tell you what's insignificant and what is significant. It all depends on you. I hope this helps.